Morning, guys. This is Winnie. Welcome to 90 Brick Horsepower. I'm just going to check my bike and do some maintenance, like a cylinder head check. And there's plenty of things you can do. First, you can check the valve clearance. Second, you can check the cam wearing. We all know that 790 has its camshafts problem. And three, I will do a leak down test for my bike, so I know the leakage for each cylinders. And other things like change the coolant, brake, fluid, air filter, and all the torques on my bike. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to show you a little bit about it, and maybe it's helpful. And let's get started. What you gonna do? Shit, dog, she and shit, so that made me die for you. What you gonna do? Tell me what you gonna do? I just roll the dice, I'm not worried about making foes in life. I pour a pint when my mind goes on overdrive, it works alright. I don't fuck with. So first thing first, we take off the protection here, and then we need to disconnect the fuel pump. Disconnect this hose, and then close this balance like hose. So close it. Yeah, disconnect this and the other side. Okay. The reason why we need a drink a bottle of this is because there's going to be some fuel spitting out, so we need to use this. What you gonna do? Shawty say she wanna live, I feel just like fun. What you gonna do? She a dog, she and shit, so that made me die for you. What you gonna do? Tell me what you gonna do? Okay, now we're going to disconnect the canister hose. So first thing first, we need to take off this insert. And then before you take off those hoses, it's very good practice to make a mark so you know which hose is for which socket. So that's it. And then you just need to disconnect those hoses. Take off this connector for this clip here, and then just pull it out. So we can take off the fuel tank. What you gonna do? If you see me with your bitch, tell me what you gonna do. What you gonna do? Shawty say she wanna live, I feel just like fun. Okay, now I'm taking off the battery. The ECU, this is the battery holder. So it gives us a little bit more space to work on the cylinder head. And to take off this, you have to take off all those things, and you just make it just to lock it aside, so you got more space. But as you can see, if you go to some like off-roading dusty environment, it's going to be very dirty. So before we open the valve cover, it's really good to clean out all those dusts, because you don't want those dust to get into the valve head, right? So yeah, let's do the cleaning first. Just like fun. What you gonna do? She a dog, she and shit, so that made me die for you. What you gonna do? So after you clean all this stuff, make sure it's acceptable, then you need to take off this holder. Okay, take off this. So when you take all these things off, I usually just put a zip tie here, just to create more space for the check. You don't need to make it very tight, just need the space. And then I will take off the spark plug, because we are going to do the leak down test. Here's my spark plug. As you can see, it burns really good. I think there's no any like a rich fuel mixture, or I hope there's no black carbon inside my combustion chamber. Now I've taken off the valve cover, and here's the gasket. So as you can see, there's some gasket on it. So we are not going to reuse it. We are going to put a new one, and we need to put some sealant here at those curves. So this one will go to the bin, and then we need to check first the most a care thing. So yes, the cam lobs. You can see that there's no wear on the cam lobs.
which is very good. And second, I can check the valve clearance, but for sure you need to use filler gauge to check the clearance. For my bike, it's only 15,000 kilometers. It's way far away from checking the valve clearance, but as long as we have opened the cover, so why not do some checking here? So yeah, like here. If the clearance is lower or higher than the range, for the intake is, I think it's 0.015 to 0.02. So if your clearance is above or lower than the range, then you need to replace the valve sheen. So it's a big job, believe me. So for my bike, I believe it's okay, so I don't need to do anything. I just need to, here, we need to take this cover off and then use this big wrench to to spin the crankshaft and to see different lobs, to see if there's any wearing or damages, and that's it. And here is the other thing I'm doing is the leak down test. So the leak down test is to check the sealant of this combustion chamber if it's okay, the leakage is okay. So normally it's between 6% to 18% or 20%. That means the cylinder is in very good condition, very good seal. If it's above 20%, then you need to check either the piston rings, the gasket, and also the valve seal. So all these things you need to check. It's going to be a big job, but for my bike, it's only 15,000 kilometers, so it's perfectly good. Okay, let's put it back.
But the stuff we do, he would fucking puke. What you going through? If you see me with your bitch, tell me what you going through. What you going through? Shawty say she wanna live, I feel just
we can put this cover back to the bike, but before that, you need to replace the rubbers, like this, the spark plug seal, and this here for the bolts. The stock ones on my bike was rusted, so I'm going to change to this, and for sure this gasket here. But still we need some sealant in those curved areas. So yeah, we have our sealant here. We're going to seal it.
She wanna give me her love, it's like she isn't aware. I ain't getting married, I barely engage in conversation. She wanna BBL, I ain't paying for that operation. I'm not Aubrey Graham, got no patience.
And then next, as the fuel tank is off, I want to replace my coolant. So to replace the coolant, first thing first, you need to drain the coolant from the other side, from the water pump hosing. And then second, very important, don't forget to take this bolt off. And when you pour the new coolant into the cooling system, you need to see that the coolant is coming out from this hole, and then to immediately to cover it. As we don't have the fuel tank covering all these shit, so first I'm going to just talk a little bit about those covers. Yeah.
You that's smug and rude and only somewhat true. Plus, if your husband knew about the stuff we do, he would fucking puke. What you going through? If you see me with your bitch, tell me what you going through. What you going through? Shawty say she wanna live, I feel just like fun. What you going through? She a dog, she ain't shit, so that make me dog food.
Because my bike, I feel that the steering head is a little bit loose when I'm going over those bumps or things. So I have to tighten this thing to its torque, which is 18 Newton meters.
That thing over here, I got a $50 bill, I'm trying to stick in your rear. She like, whoa, it kinda tickles in there. I'm feeling tipsy off a pill, someone get me a beer, a micro. Found some dillies upstairs, then I swallowed all of the bottle, dog, I really don't care. Baby, I'm just trying to get it on air. She wanna give me her love, it's like she isn't aware. I ain't getting married, I barely engage in conversation. She wanna BB for that operation. I'm not Aubrey Graham, got no patience for a broad this brain that always harbored hatred for the cause, but I still rock with bacon. What you going through? If you see me with your bitch, tell me what you going through. What you going through? Shawty say she wanna lick, I feel just like fun. What you going through? She a dog, she ain't shit, so that make me dog food. What you going through? Tell me what you going through? I just roll the dice.
Alright guys, I almost finished my job. So today I have opened the valve cover to check the lobs, cam lobs, any wearing, and then valve clearance, and then leak down test, and then the timing, the marks, the dot marks and the line marks. They are perfectly well. So I'm really happy. And since I took the fuel tank off, I have also replaced the coolant because my bike is already 4.5 years, or 3.5 years. So I think it's time to do that. And also I did the brake fluid replacement, and then I have checked my steering column. I mean, I feel that when I'm go across the bumps, I can feel there's a little very small gap. So I've tightened the bolt on top of the steering column. So after all this work, because I opened the valve cover, I opened the cooling system. So I want to make sure that the bike is, and there's no leaking from the valve cover and the water pump. So I just push the bike outside and let it idle until the fence turning. That would be like a 97 Celsius. So yeah, let the bike cool. And here's something that I want to share with you, the tools that I have used today. So first is the socket 10, 8, and 6. This is for most T40 socket screws and bolts. And this is second is the 8 millimeter like a socket. So it pairs with the T30. And then it is the 6 millimeter socket. This is for the clamps for the coolant hoses. And then I have a T40. I have this 6 millimeter Allen key. And then plier, driver screw, T30 driver screwdriver, I'm sorry, screwdriver, like a, screwdriver. And this is the Allen key, 14 millimeter. This is for the alternate, the generator's cover, because I have to turn the crankcase to turn the cams to check its profile to see if there's any wearing or something. So this is also required. And there's a 15 millimeter socket to turn the crankshaft, because I have to see the knobs. So that's almost it. And this is another plier to cut the zip ties. And the ratchet, small, middle, and the large ratchet. And this is the feeler gauge to check the valve clearance. And also very important, the torque wrench. Those are very, very important to check all the bolts that on my bike. So there's a few bolts on my bike is loose. And firstly is the upper side fork legs. The upper triple clamp, it's loosening. And then for sure every bike we have serviced the kickstand bolt is loosening, and also the subframe a little bit, and that's almost that. Also the fork legs to clamp the front axle of the wheel. Yeah, it's also loosened. So yeah, that's all that I found on my bike that having some problems, and that's it. And as you can see, there's not too much tools that you will be requiring to do a very deep, thorough maintenance. So I would say, yeah, KTM got some problem. Yes, we all know that, but it's also very easy to work on. So yeah, I still think 790 Adventure R is a great bike for me. Yeah, and then almost forgot this 32. 32 is used in both front and the rear axle, and also the steering column. On the top, the nut is 32mm socket. So if you got this bike, maybe you want to get one of those. And the sealant, 5, 9, 10 Loctite. So you're going to need it for the valve cover sealant. So got one of those. And then also this one, the coolant from Motorex. I mean, it's really good. 3 years. I think those coolant in my bike are quite fresh. So it's been 3 years, 3.5 years. So let's replace it. Okay, and I think it's almost that. I'm pretty happy with my bike. It's a CKD bike. It was produced in China by CF Moto. Its quality is really good, but they only assemble, I think, the chassis, the frames, not the whole bike. The engine, I believe, is from Austria, from Mattighofen. So yeah, but I'm pretty happy that it's in a very, very good condition and there's no wearing. For me, I'm pretty happy with the bike. This engine, no leaking, no oil leaking, no coolant leaking, nothing happened to me. Okay, I think that's it for this episode. So if you got any question, please leave your comments below, and if you like, please subscribe to our channel. And in the future, I will share more and more motorcycle maintenance things, and also motorcycling in China. Maybe it will be fascinating to you. Okay, this is 90 brake horsepower. My name is Winnie, and I'll see you next time.
Engage in conversation. She wanna BBL. I ain't paying for that operation. I'm not Aubrey Graham. Got no